research. Before you agree to take part, please read the information below.
Okay.
And we're gonna record.
Okay, yes, I am happy for you to record.
Thank you. Okay, so the first question is, may I ask, what's your first language?
My first language is, my first language is now English, but it was Welsh growing up.
Do you think Welsh
Yes.
is similar to English?
No, it's completely different to English. Yeah.
What's your favorite way to study? Do you study English like digitally or?
I studied it in school, so I learnt traditionally. I'm from an age when we didn't have digital equipment. I learnt English a long time ago. So I learnt it as a grammar, and I learnt to write English grammatically.
Have you tried also learn English digitally?
No, I've never learnt English digitally.
Do you usually use social media?
Sometimes.
So do you think the language used, like English language used in social media, like kind of affects the way you talk in English?
Not me personally, because my training is in journalism, so my communication is very much about making clear what I want to say. However, I am aware that in social media there are different abbreviations, there are different ways of expressing yourself which are quite different to what I would say is received pronunciation. So the way that we would normally expect English to be written and spoken.
And do you think the use of digital media could actually improve the efficiency of English learning?
I think there is nothing better than interaction between people. After all, like every language, it's a communication. And the more you practice it in real life, the better. So the problem with any digital course is that it's artificial. It's artificial communication. You're not really dealing with a normal situation. So, just take this as an example. Our communication depends on you being able to understand what I'm saying. But actually to be able to understand it at the speed in which I'm speaking. And I think that is one of the biggest barriers for communication. That you can learn on a screen all the right words and all the right phrases, but if you are being spoken to at speed, that's really difficult. That's the barrier that you have to break through, and that turns you from being a learner into a native speaker, being able to deal with the speed of delivery and to be able to interact in a normal conversation. Now, the basis of any learning of languages is to be able to communicate with other people in their language. So the best way of dealing with that, you can begin your process digitally, but there is nothing that beats that human interaction.
Then, as a teacher, would you advise students to use digital media when they learn English?
No. As a teacher, I would ask you to go out, meet people. You've got a perfect environment here where people around you are all speaking English. But it's up to you to take that opportunity. If you sit at home and stare at your computer and learn digitally, you are not benefiting from being here in Sheffield. Go out, meet people, start speaking to them. I know the danger is always that you feel you need to have perfect English before you speak English. You don't. People will be very happy to speak to you, no matter how good or how poor your English is. Yeah, and that way you'll grow in confidence, and that way you will want to speak more English. And then it's cyclical. The more you speak English, the better you become at English. The more you'll want to speak English.
Do you have any suggestion to use English on social media?
It's artificial, isn't it? So I'd be very careful, because some of the abbreviations on social media aren't in everyday communication. So I would just ask you, I suppose the recommendation is, do take care. Using social media is fine. We all use social media, but do take care that you're not translating some of the strange things you see in social media into real life, because they don't translate.
I think it's about time.
Yeah.
So the interview will end here, but if you have any questions.
No, I'm really happy that you're doing this project. It's really interesting. So.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
My pleasure.